7 brothers, and they all were in the military except for my father. He was exempted because of me, but he worked in Wichita, worked on B-29s. But of my uncles, one, Jerome, was in the Army Air Corps, and he was killed by bomb concussion December 8th, 41. And then Verge was in the Navy and worked on a supply ship. Florentine, you can imagine how many fist fights he got in. Florentine was called Dave, and he was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, his
And
name is
he made all the
Florentine.
all the beach invasions, and his group kept getting shot up, and he joined a new group and get shot up and joined a new group. He was missing in action for 18 months. My grandma didn't know he was alive for a year and a half.
Wow.
And finally the paperwork caught up, and then after the war he stayed in the military, and he was in China when it was when the Red Chinese took over, and they had to march out 120 miles dressed as peasants. And he was about 6'2", so you can imagine how he had to stoop for 120 miles to look short like that. And then I had an uncle that died a year and a half ago, Dave, and he was a master sergeant in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was captured. And he told me stories that the Germans were retreating, so he was never in camp. They would just herd him along and lock him in barns at night, and the only food they got would be turnips and things that some of the women would give to them as they were going down the road. And he told me the stories how in the morning they'd wake up with no water, and they would lick the bolts on the doors just for moisture.
Oh my goodness.
And he when he was returned to the States, he received his medals by mail, a Bronze Star and all kinds of medals. And my cousin, who was a career Air Force, he was a fighter pilot, but anyhow, when he heard that story, he was disgusted. So he got a hold of the congressman, and then it was just 2 years ago we met in Denver, and he had an official presentation of all these medals, and which was really wonderful, because it was only about 9 months later when he finally passed away.
Wow. How much medals?
I've got pictures that I don't know what they are, other than Bronze Star and Combat Infantryman's Badge and Purple Heart, and I don't know what all they got. And then Whitey landed in Africa. He was in the Signal Corps, and let's see, Frankie and Whitey and Verge was in the Navy, and then my dad.
That wraps up all the brothers?
On that side, on my mom's side, they were both uncles in the military. In fact, one interesting thing is that my one uncle worked in Alaska on the Aleutian chain, and they didn't know what to make of the Zero fighter because they didn't have any. But anyhow, there was a wreck along the coast where apparently a Zero was shot down. But he landed in Muskeg, and when he landed, he broke his neck and he died. But the plane was almost totally undamaged. And I've got pictures of him, of my uncle, when they were loading it in a ship to take it back secretly to the States so they could figure out how to fight it.
Right.
And there was one, and if I remember the story correctly, there was one thing that actually gave us an advantage over the Zero fighter, is that whenever the Zero fighter went down at an angle, it had a hard time pulling back up, and actually that's one reason why the Hellcats were able to.
Yeah, they didn't have self-sealing fuel tanks, so if they hit a fuel tank, they could ignite.
I mean, every time our bullets went in there, it just went.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they call fire so fast.
Okay, moving on.
Okay.